Richard, that was a great juniors recap, but let's talk about the women's racing.
Well, you've got Katie Compton, World Cup leader. She's won the World Cup championships, 14-time national champion, still the queen, but she's been facing challenges as of late. Caroline Mani surprised everybody with a silver medal at the World Championships. And don't forget that Amanda Miller has been on the podium of KMC Cross Fest. But there's a youth movement too, I believe, Lauren.
Yep, we're seeing a lot of new, younger riders coming up through the ranks. We've got riders like Ellen Noble, Emma White, Becca Faringer. We have a lot of really great up-and-coming young talent. Don't forget that Ellen is the U23 World Cup leader. So we're going to have a mix of racers in here that are really going to present a challenge for Katie Compton.
And what's amazing about women's racing in cyclocross, 10 years ago, the same person would win every weekend. Whole different podiums day after day. We're going to see what happens here at KMC Cross Fest.
To the women we go. The main question going into the women's race at KMC was, would anyone be able to unseat Katie Compton? And the answer was a big, resounding no. Compton dominated the competition on Saturday, turning in perhaps the best performance of any field all weekend long.
All right, Katie.
The first lap saw the field struggling with slippery course conditions and kept the course repair crew busy as riders would slide down tricky off-cambers, taking the snow fencing down with them. By the end of lap 2, Compton had made her move. She asserted a gap and forced Ellen Noble to chase. Compton coolly rode through the challenging sections of the Wall of Death, making it look easy, stretching her lead to nearly a minute, powering away through the muddy, twisty flats at Thompson Speedway. Trailing behind Compton's dominant and smooth performance would be Ellen Noble, who would finish up in second, 44 seconds behind Compton. Hanging on for third, Becca Faringer of the Amy D Foundation charged towards the leaders, blowing past Courtney McFadden and Emma White to score her first C1 podium. After the race, we caught up with Katie Compton. Here's what she had to say.
How'd it go out there? What happened?
It went well. It was a good race. I had a clean race. Felt pretty good, and then I just liked it. It was fast. It was hard. Techno sections were good for me, so I had a clean race and just really enjoyed it because it's a muddy, hard course.
What was so hard about this course? What were some of the main technical features?
I think because you had a lot of power, it was fast, but also you also had the technical bits too, the off-camera and the downhill shoots. Just kind of made it a really good, fun course, but also good physically.
All right, how much of a threat was Ellen out there today? She was
Ellen
chasing
was
down
riding
for a bit.
well. Yeah, she was chasing hard the whole time. She rode well beginning and the end. Emma was riding strong too, and then Becca. So we've got a lot of young riders chasing hard, and they're getting faster every year. So it's good to see.
On Sunday, the top women would really give Compton a run for her money. Emma White led it out with the hole shot, and day one winner Katie Compton started back around 10th place, facing some early race mechanical issues. Caroline Money and Becca Faringer drove the pace early, trying to fend off Compton as she would chase back after a bike swap at the end of lap 2. On lap 3, it looked as though Faringer might score the upset, and everything came unglued. Faringer goes down hard on the descent, not only losing the lead, but held up the group with a huge traffic jam just as Compton made contact with the group. From here, Compton would take control of the race, laying down the hammer on the infield. That was the last the bunch would see of her for the day.
Good job, White. Come on, White. Let's go. Come on, White. Come on, Kate. Finish line.
The battle for the remaining podium steps would be between Mani and Faringer.
You made better paint faces than Thomas over there. Got her. Get that wheel!
The French national champion would show her experience, taking second at the line in an exciting sprint. We also spoke with Becca Faringer to see how her double podium weekend went.
I'm pretty pleased. It's the same place that I got yesterday, but it was a much different race. I really know that I left it all out there, and it wasn't physical limitation. I just need to work on being a little bit smoother and racing smarter. So it was a very encouraging race.
That's good. How was the course itself?
The course was pretty good. Today it suited me because it was pretty dry, so it was really great to put some power down. The sort of scarier elements from yesterday were gone. Like the off-camber wasn't as slick, the sandy plunge wasn't there, so that sort of suited the strong power riders, and it was nice. It flowed nicely.
I've been at this a long time. I'm not a professional, I don't do it for a living. I'm just a guy who enjoys riding his bike. I like to get out there and race and push the bike hard. I definitely appreciate that I have a unique position within the industry. You know, I'm racing. I got to race Sven Nys last year, and at the same time, I'm crunching numbers in the back of a bike shop. About 10 years ago, I was teaching high school, and I decided to take a year off and work on my master's degree. And during that time off, a friend of mine was managing a shop that closed down, and I asked him if he wanted to go into business with me, and we decided to open shop together. From day one, when we started the shop, we wanted to have a shop that wasn't a typical bike shop. So when we opened the shop in Haymarket, we decided that we were going to have a shop that was completely open to everyone. As a teacher, in order to be a good teacher, in order to do a good job, I needed to make a real connection with the students. And while making connections was important as a teacher, it's also important in the bike shop. I feel like I can be the link between someone who is actually on the bike, on the product, using it day in and day out and testing its limits, and the customer who might only see reviews online. When they come into the shop, they can ask me questions, ask me about my experience on the product, and I can give them honest, real answers from my experience. I know the benefits of using, for example, a KMC chain. I know that I can pop that master link off, clean my chain, put it back on my bike, and go out and hammer on it another day and not worry about popping that link. Training's a lot like taking care of your chain. You can't just do it once in a while and expect results. I feel like I've been really lucky in my cycling career in that I started from, pretty much a complete novice. I was mentored along the way and really grew as a racer while developing my fitness, and I think that's something that's really lacking nowadays. So I had all this guidance from really talented riders, and then fortunately in the area where I live, I have been in contact with a lot of other talented riders, and I feel like I've been a connection between a prior generation and an upcoming generation. At the end of the day, it's important for me to make connections, enduring connections.